Good evening and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Books, and tonight we're gonna increase our antimatter supply because that seems to be the current checkpoint that we're hitting. Now, the main thing with our antimatter supply at the moment is not actually antimatter production. It's critical photons. So hence the name of this stream being critical photon production. And I think, emphasis on think, that this is actually going to be a fairly easy solve. But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on this, right? So we'll see. And yeah, we're going to be doing some testing of some of the mechanics here and how it all works and all that sort of cool stuff. So yeah. Now, what we've got is all these bad boys here, the ray receivers. They're requesting power, and there's an efficiency on there, there's continuous receiving bonus, some max output, and so on and so forth. So I think as it requests power, yeah, as it requests more, then it's all good. But increased by graviton lens and continuous working. Yeah, I need to look up. I need to work out how this actually works. But what I figure is that what we need to have happen here is those photon generations happens in a little bit more of a more structured kind of status here. And I'm also thinking that the outputs need to be a bit more structured, right? So maybe there needs to be an input of graviton lenses for all of these things, and then an output of critical photons. And I might just do this section, I'm not sure. There's many things I'm not sure of, apparently. This entire episode is just one big uncertainty principle. But yeah, we're gonna have a bash at it. Alright, we're gonna start off what I think is gonna need to happen. This is my hypothesis for the episode, right? What I think is gonna need to happen is that I'm gonna need to bring in a whole heap of graviton lenses to make this work. Alright? I think that's what I'm gonna need, but I'm not sure. Because the other hypothesis that I have here is that I can get away with doing this with just outputs from, you know, these things in normal natural states, just with, you know, massive amounts of it that will be all good. And that graviton lenses is just kind of a speed up for if you have a space sort of limiting sort of factor. So that's what we're going to start off with, and then just see what graviton lens does to our production, if you will, and see if it improves our situation to the point where it's, you know, okay, we definitely need to do that, or if it's just, you know, a turbo, but with enough, you know, non-turbo cars, you can still get to your destination. And that's the premise of tonight's episode, and we will see if that, you know, what science says, really, or rather what the game mechanics says. So what I'm doing at the moment is just hooking up our outputs. So this is how they are going to run. If we do need to do inputs, they're going to run through the middle here. So I'll only need to put in 2 input sort of lanes here, but we will need 3 output lanes for this setup that we've got going on here. just gonna come up like so. And then I'll just need to do this sort of thing. Now I'm hoping if I do photon generation here and just do a like this, will that help me? Not sure it will actually. Yeah, it's not making the output part of it. Alright, that's alright. We'll set this up manually. As painful as that gonna be. I think though I can do, yeah, there we go. For whatever reason, the blueprint I think that I copied just wasn't great, and there's a little bit of wasted space between them. That's okay, we can deal with the wasted space. Oh wait, we can do that. Alright. These bottom ones are all now on critical photon generation, which is where we want to be. And from here, we just need to set up our outputs so that when they make a critical photon, it can export it for us. I'll be quite interested to see what this does to the requested power from our Dyson sphere, because I don't think I've had anything that really requests quite this much power previously. Now we're going to do the same with the next rung as well. Switch them over to critical photons. I suppose if I was doing an experiment, I should do a control as well. So maybe this bottom rung, I'll keep on just normal critical photon generation, right? And then maybe the top rung, we switch over to the graviton lens sort of thing. Not sure how I'll really measure output, but that could be a thing. Measuring output would be really difficult, I think, because these guys are sharing a belt. Maybe if it's a Factorio, then you could kind of see on each side of the belt and do something along those lines, but I'm also not sure how I'm going to actually split these, if that's what it comes to it, with our input. Because trying to fit a splitter in... yeah, apparently we can do it. Alright, never mind, I take it all back. So... what I think we could do here to try and measure this is use the statistics panel, right? That would seem to be the way to go. So if I use the planetary statistics panel, then presumably I should be able to see in production, yeah, critical photon for the local planet, right? Over the last hour, we get these spiky sort of things happening, but for the last hour it's doing 7 a minute, right? So if I just do the last 10 minutes, 43 a minute is the average. Yeah, per minute we're getting currently 215 a minute, right? Now, by putting these in, I should get an increase no matter what. So the main increase really that we're after is efficiency. Does it make it more efficient using these guys as compared to just the vanilla variety? Yes, yes, we're asking the deep questions here on Fuchs's channel tonight. And that is what we're going to solve. Right, so... either way, I'm going to need to set up... well, actually, maybe not either way. Maybe I just need to set these up, right? Or rather, the only reason I should need to set these up is if I end up using them. Indeed. Mind you, the production boost might actually be quite useful as well. The other thing actually that they do is they make it run for longer. Power this up. Right, so we've got 670 critical photons so far from a belt of these things. And specifically at the moment, our critical photon production has gone down. Over the last 10 minutes, it's been produced at about 73 a minute. How long have I been streaming? Has been yeah, it's been 10 minutes, but probably only just switch things on, yeah, half that time. So in 5 minutes, I've done 75 a second. That also presumes that we have continuous receiving for all that period. Now, we're going to set you to remote demand. And we might set you to maybe 3600. Alright, so it is going to send these guys through to these. Now you're going to output here, you're going to output here, or either way, these things will need to output, right? So we'll start setting that up. So what's the current demand on our Dyson sphere? Oh, you're requesting nothing, but you're requesting less and less because of, yeah. So yeah, definitely 100% satisfaction. That's not going to be, it's not a thing, right? Alright, we'll keep on going down the right side. Get that done first. Now these critical photons will need to be carried off somewhere to actually be produced into matter, antimatter as well as matter actually, to be fair. They will be split into hydrogen and anti-hydrogen, to be very specific about it. Why hydrogen and anti-hydrogen? Because they're the simplest sort of atoms that you can get. Seems to be the reasoning that they've selected. Mind you, it'd be kind of interesting. You know, what would happen with iron and anti-iron? You know, would there be a difference? I don't know. someone more sciencey I would really love to have that question answered. Maybe just a bigger boom. Alright, so this guy has a graviton lens. This guy does not. I feel like, yeah, so plus 200%. So this has got a max output of 300. This has got a max output of 100. Currently it's requesting 400 megawatts. This one's requesting 127. And then in terms of production a minute, this is 5 and 15. Alright. So, I think it's just making it quicker rather than more efficient. In fact, that's technically less efficient. And the reason I say technically less efficient is because we're using something in the production of it, whereas previously we were not. Specifically, we're using up what, some strange matter and some diamonds. We have plenty of diamonds. What strange matter is made up of? Yeah, it's using some of these doodads. So potentially it's really wasteful using graviton lenses in your array receivers. Now, I'm at the point at the moment where I think wasteful, ironically, will be a good thing. The reason being is, you know, I'm not stupidly into the end game at the moment. So I'm gonna go with wasteful, but I'm thinking in future planets, I'm just gonna go all natural and not run with these things. So once I hit a point where antimatter production is not so crucial, then I don't think graviton lenses, if they're not necessary, we won't do it. At the moment, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just making sure everything is moving to critical photons rather than direct power draws. Hey, there we go. Alright, they'll be producing photons, and now go down this line here, do the conga line, and make sure that these guys are all... They also run for longer. So production wise, that's a big plus. The other thing I'm not sure about is if the continuous receiving bonus makes it more efficient. But I think it's all about a matter of speed of production more than it is any kind of efficiency of a production, which is a little bit of a shame, to be honest, because I would have liked it a lot more if, you know, you got something along the lines of efficiency with graviton lenses, and maybe I'm wrong, and you do. Alright, so you're turning on. And you're turning off. So it's just going to be this narrow band where they all turn off. You're on photon production, yep. And then in the meantime, this one is not going to turn on. Oh, what was that? Huh. You're getting some stats as to what's in it. Alright, if we hover now. Is that new? I feel like that's new. Okay. So I also feel like we should, because the supply of critical photons at the moment is really a, I don't want to go with a pun here, but it's a critical thing. Oh god. So we're gonna go ahead and speed up this production and upgrade this sort of area here so that it is gonna be set up to produce it as fast as possible. Unfortunately, we need to use splitters here. It'd be really nice if you didn't need to. It's, you know, if it had 2 output points, you could say, okay, we're going to daisy chain them along as opposed to using splitters. Then, you know, that might also make splitters kind of obsolete. Now, I will need a bit of a break here as well. Do that. The positioning is not the best either. These ones are still on. That's generally why you put them at the poles as well, because they'll never turn off. But then putting it at the poles also means that they have, you know, kind of problems in the inputs and outputs, and it's a lot messier. And I don't like mess. Nobody likes mess. The effect, is launch effects. Yeah, so these doodads are starting to turn on. Whereas even at the far end there, it's not even turned on yet. Yeah, so that's only just switching on now, right? See how our local Dyson sphere goes with this. Oh, I've somehow missed a bit here. Look it up. There you go. Have some lenses. Alright, so that should give us really good critical photon supply for the time being. Should being the operative word. Let's check in with our Dyson sphere. We're requesting still fractions of its output, and it hasn't even been completed is the other thing as well. We're still at... I swear that was better before. Wait. Oh no, I'm looking at the cells rather than the... Yeah, okay, we're getting closer to completion on the structure, even if we're not getting closer to completion on the shooty into spacey things. Photon cells. Photon cells? Is that it? Solar cells. There we go. Whoa. Yep. Look at them all being shot off. I'm wondering if we've got a good enough supply of them, to be honest. Might be that we do. There's a good chance that we do, in fact. Yeah. This ain't running out. It's definitely not a case of running out. It is definitely a case of we're just not keeping up with the demand at the moment. Despite all this, but I don't want it to wipe out our stuff here. By stuff I kind of mean, you know, things that we can mine. I want to use that iron and whatnot at some point. Alright, so these guys are taking some of the power, but the rest of it will be being, or this little section here I should say, is sucking it up in the form of critical photons down here. And we have 1800 in storage, so that is a good start. And we'll just stick around to see the production statistics for a bit. Kind of find it interesting some of this is proliferated as well. I don't know where all that proliferated material is coming from. But yeah, so critical photon here. Right, 125 a minute. If we look at the last minute specifically, we're looking at 420 a minute. And not all of it's turned on and we're getting that continuous receiving benefit yet. So let's look at this guy here who's been receiving for a little bit of time. Slowly increasing the requested power. Getting 73% of the benefit, right? And that's slowly increasing as well due to the continuous receiving. Alright. So at the moment it's drawing down like a quarter. And one of these is producing how many a second? 6.69 a minute at the moment. So every 10 seconds it's producing one, which is tiny. So the antimatter production ratio here. Antimatter, I don't have the right recipe here, maybe here. 2 to produce 2. Kind of feel like we need more. Unless these things up their game. Which, to be fair, they're only early days in the orbital period. We'll have points where we slow down, so that's 7 point. Okay. So you're at. Why are you at 7.3 and you're up to 10? Hang on. Hold up. Why is there such a big difference here? You're doing 10 a second, or 10 a minute. You're doing 7. Somehow you're requesting more power than this guy, despite apparently having the same continuous receiving. Proliferation. Makes it happen. Proliferation. Working together. Alright. So, we want paint. Paint. We definitely, no matter what's coming in here, we want it to be painted up. And it'll just make things more effective. So, we'll tell this to request some paint. Go get some paint, please. Tell it can warp that paint as well. And then just output like so, then get it up to there, and then, yeah. Cool. Alright, so that'll make things much more efficient. Kind of feel like in the meantime I actually want to drain these bad materials. Try and get the more proliferated stuff in. Alright. Are you painting everything yet? Come on, paint things. Maybe it's slow coaching its way here. But you bloody well are, yeah, that's probably the paint supply there. Damn, there's a lot of rockets. My mind is exploding. While we're here, let's look at our rocket supply in general. I think you're the thing that's remote demanding it. Yep. I'm gonna let you go request things, but I'm also gonna let you warp. Yeah, so it could definitely be getting them a bit faster. Hello, autosave. Oh look, it's a subscriber seller. Well, you know what we do to those. We ban them. You, sir. Gefazdu Blabera. Your report and your totes a bot. Selling followers. Submit. There we are. Civic duty done. And we'll just hit you with a ban hammer too. Boom. Ban hammer. Boom. Alright. So, this guy's local demanding things. Yep, that's good. In the meantime, we are still launching rockets, so that's good. And we got a paint now. Yay. Alright. So what's our production up to now? We're up to producing nearly 800 a minute. That's good. Still not good enough. But one of these is making 12. So I think I can't ask too much beyond that. And we're also getting up to a couple of thousand of these. Alright, so we're going to set up some place that actually wants to import these. Now, the most immediate thing that I can think of is to make use of what we have, which is to go to Big Brain, and specifically go to Earth and tell them to import them critical photons. Gonna make sure we're lined up here. Oh, it shows up in chat that I've banned people. Interesting. See, I haven't had to lay down the banner hammer too often. Clearly. But I'm now drunk on the power. Ha 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 ha. Alright, we're getting quite quick. No! Please! Yes! We made it! I suck at driving sometimes. Alright, I promise I'm a better driver in real life. That's a Pinky Pook's promise. So, we have this dude that is currently producing antimatter, or critical photons. And that's all well and good, but we actually want to import it a bit better than that, right? So, where we can, here looks good. You can ask for them critical photons. Demand. You can have warpers. 100. Local demand, remote storage. Oh. I did the wrong thing. Alright. Cool. So from here, and you can tell why I don't go back to Big Brain all that often is because the frame rate sucks here. Can I get you down to base level? Do I have to make you go? I think I'm gonna have to make it go over. Okay, that's fine. And then like so. Alright, so that should give us a really good supply of critical photons to these miniature particle colliders. Also, I'm curious, devs, what's the big particle colliders? I want to see the real stuff. Like, are we talking planetary rings here? Can we please have that if it's gonna come? Pretty please. Okay, ran over. Now, the other thing that I feel we should do here is, this is maybe insufficient for our needs. I'm gonna want a lot of antimatter production. So I might actually expand out what's being produced here. And I'm gonna expand it out where we've got some space here. Also, how are you doing on hydrogen? Are you lacking? Are you getting plenty? Are you getting plenty? That's good. Cool. Feel like asking if it's eating enough veggies or not. Are you eating enough veggies? Are you okay? Do you need money? Oh, hang on. That's a bad idea. There we go. Cool. So what am I actually looking for here? Particle colliders, that's it. I think 200 is going to be a bit of a stretch, but that will do us plenty. Probably going to want foundation as well. Not just for my face, but for the map. Alright, now we're gonna work this out. So, do that, and then that. Oh, hey, so then that. Much better. And then we're gonna need to put a little bit of a kink in it. So, if we do this and then run it up like so. And then down like, maybe a bit more down like so. Right. And then, yeah, maybe do the opposite line because I know that's going to be necessary. Look at all these wasted photons. I nearly said futons. Look at all these wasted futons, people. We need people to sleep on futons. Alright, and if I just kind of copy one of these because it's got the belting necessary, that'd be ideal. Make it go like this, yeah, there we go. And then you do this kind of the same thing here. Nope, maybe you can't do the same thing. Maybe we need to stagger you. There we go. And down and around. There we go. Alright, so if I put you like this, and I kind of put like you like this, that's gonna all work out well. Good. Alright. Oh, wait. You haven't worked out well. What about you? Yeah, you're good. Alright. Take you as a bit of a blueprint to finish you off. And then same for you. And from here, things go down that way. Go down that way. Now this is a little bit of a stopgap measure still. Realistically, I'm going to need a planet doing antimatter, I think. Production, so we can import all our critical photons into the one place. Then export them from there to as antimatter and matter wherever they need to go. But for the time being, this will work well enough. I was about to say well, but it's not really going to work all that well because it still risks jamming up with hydrogen and that sort of thing. But it's going to work well enough. Okay, now we're just gonna give that power. Kind of feel like these things are a little bit wasteful on my home planet. So do I really need the big balloon powers? I mean, we built this planet from Tesla towers. Why can't we finish with them? That is so much quicker. Finally, what we're going to do here is just kind of snip you off of the end here as well. Let's recover those resources. Oh, we've got a problem here too. We are. There's at least one Tesla tower in the mix, you know. Nostalgia solved. Alright, so that should give us tons and tons and tons of... In fact, it may have just given us a different problem. Just look at all this hydrogen that's just kind of stacking up here, which means that these will fill up with hydrogen and can't run. Alright, so we're going to put in some stackers. Not my favorite thing, but okay, we'll have to do it. Do the same here. Should help with our outputs ginormously. Now, if this is the case though, right, it means that I'm getting 30 a second of antimatter, which is cool, right? That's good. We've got antimatter, good amounts of antimatter. But it also kind of indicates to me that I might need stackers for that too. Might being the operative word here, because I think I've just... actually, I'm not sure. Right, we're getting awful close to it. We might drop in one here just to help out. Sure it gets power, because it's in just that little unique spot. And then that can be stacking up the antimatter from the output up here. Yeah, the frame rate sucks balls. Now, this thing is going to fill up on antimatter first, but then it should start going elsewhere as well. While I'm here too, just drop you in there, and we're starting to get our hydrogen fill up. A little bit of quantity, not too bad. Good to know though, because you can have some critical photons. Oh crap, didn't mean to do that. All that was meant to be was just storage of critical photons, but then now we're shipping it in mass quantities. We've got antimatter coming in, and we're certainly in demand. It's in demand by our science now. I kind of feel like we're going to switch you up though. We're going to switch it up so that you're now taking the antimatter. Because I want to ship this around on an interstellar basis, right? And this is just a plain old supply. So we'll give you these. Set this up now. Down and then in. Now you're set up to be mid-load of drones 100%. Can be the same. And then we'll just quickly divert you. We'll set you down to like minimum drone levels. So you can empty yourself of them. And then our excess will, I say excess, it's not going to be excess. Alright, so that's happening. Now that should also mean that our antimatter production, power production things are happening. We're starting to get into a surplus again, which is fantastic after I set up a lot of production or consumption places around antimatter. So we are winning again, people. We are winning this. But you know me, not for long. We're gonna go deliver a next shock to the system of our factory. And we're gonna do it by heading to hot pink research. And where else do you have hot pink research but Australia? Yeah. Let's head there and switch on our research stations, and we're gonna really take a turbocharge to the amount of hashes that we can produce, or amount of research that we're producing. Because we're going to need that research. In particular, we are going to need the resource stretching. In order to cover everything in a Dyson sphere, then we really want mining speed upgrades, and not even that, just the upgrades to, where's the planet? I can't. Hello, planet. Nice of you to actually join us. For the resources to last as long as possible. That's where I was going with that. Alright. So, You're all the right settings. You're all the right settings. We haven't set you to be local demand. So let's set you to local demand and maybe something will... Ah, wait, local storage. Remote demand. There we go. Might you just drop me down to 1,000 here. Now I don't particularly want anything but the demand for these things to switch on. So I'm just going to wait until those things come in. Pardon me. And then we're going to drop down our accumulators, which will discharge their power, and it should kickstart everything for us. The only other option is solar panels, but you kind of need a few of them for that to happen. And I think I'm just going to drop down the batteries. Here we go. We have things coming in, so let's grab our full batteries. Drop them in. Please tell me you're discharging. Yep. Please discharge more. Apparently that's not enough. Alright. All you need is a single spark here. There we go. Now, interestingly enough, it's given me drained accumulators there as well. So I'll just give those back. And they can get charged up, thank you very much. Hopefully. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, now with those online, then we want to go set up some requests here. Good demanding paint and warpers, that's right. You're starting to deliver out all the things you need to. Good. Paint's coming in. Also good. Alright, so we're gonna go down. So pink. Why did I do this? Got warpers. Got power coming in. Yeah, okay. So I see nothing for it but to, you know, fuck it, you can have max demand as well. Let's go get it all, buddy. Go get it all. Alright, switching on the blue science there. Let's now switch on the red science here. And all those ships are starting to take off and go, hey, let's go get it. Get them, boys. Or girls. They could be lady ships. Or, you know, non-identifying ships. Which would make the most sense, really. Now, what else? We want to remote demand these. This is interesting, right? It's gone 14. Oh, no. Kind of wondering if we have 14,000 just kind of kicking around, because this is something I haven't really expanded production of all that much, or indeed at all. So I'm curious to know if there is actually enough to keep supplying this or not. My guess is not. But we'll remote demand these ones as well. And then finally we want to remote demand antimatter. Cool. So that is switching on the basics of our science. There's a whole heap of drones there. I want to make sure I've actually set these drones to 100% sort of settings. Just realised that could get a little bit nasty. Or if it's just that everything's kind of launched at once. Those shipments. Yep, alright, so it's starting to get blue science here. Good to see. It would be really interesting to see. Nah, that's not the case. I was wondering if these sorters maybe get overwhelmed at all. Well, that's happening. We've got red science happening. Now this should all happen at equal rates as well, right? Like, or roughly equal weight. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's something I haven't done. This ain't gonna work. We're gonna need more labs. Alright, let's order them in. So rather than us go for a trip. Labs are going to be a constant demand here, so I will not feel guilty about putting in a logistics station that demands labs on a kind of a permanent basis anytime we need to expand our labs. Alright, you buildings, labs, remote demand, have some dudes. Yeah, 1,000 labs, I guess. That seems like a good number. And then you're gonna need warpers too. And that just kind of insanely bump up your power so you can send off some ships. There we go. Cool. Alright, so we should have a ship coming in with 1,600 labs too. Because the one thing I've forgotten is that I hadn't really properly set this up. I'd set up a couple of them. But things like this means that they're not producing on an equal basis. Oh, that's pretty. So if it was producing on an equal basis, we'd see a lot more green in storage right now. But, you know, this is all the green we've got going on. Terrible. It shouldn't be too far from Big Brain. How far are we away from Big Brain? Only 4 light years. Alright, it might have even arrived now. Nope, not quite. Only 700 in transit? Really? That seems like a ripoff. Maybe I didn't make enough. I just limited the amount in storage or something. Oh, that's all good. 700 should serve our purposes anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna drop you up to 1,600. Alright, here comes the labs. Just kind of take a whole heap of you guys. Yeah, all 700, why not? Okay, let's finish off our research here. There we go. So I think the yellow stuff is all good. Yeah, it's gonna be the purple is the next one. So make sure that these are to the standard that we're expecting. Excellent. And then same with the green guys. Build them trees. Interestingly enough, that thing is still looking for stuff to come in. Like, oh no, it just doesn't have enough. Alright, we'll give you things. For whatever reason, I hadn't filled you up with these. Alright, you got your own things now, buddy. That'll help you. Apparently it wasn't easy being green. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Oh, and we were just suffering on the transmission to Twitch there. Sorry, seeing that spike up, but the red signal is bad. Apologies for the glitchy there. Cool. Alright, we should have a lot more green coming out now. And we should see it starting to supply here. Therefore supply our white science here. Which we also want to increase the towers on. Now this whole setup should actually produce an excessive amount of materials required for these white science pillars. So we should be overproducing on all the inputs except for blue and red science, I believe, will be underproduced. Once we get all the green science necessary, of course. Actually, the one thing I haven't factored in here actually is that some of this science is going to need to go elsewhere as well. Because some of this science is actually going to need to go to research. Ha! Yeah. So this tower of ratios here is somewhat misleading. Okay. It's a good thought to have now rather than later. And the good news about it is that we can fix that by just going, let's make more. So let's do another blue science here. Do another red science. About here. We'll do another yellow science. Just to the south of it, I think. And this is why I make planets of things. Is because it makes it just dead easy to say, alright, we want more of this thing on this planet. Copy, paste, done. Plenty of space as well. Drop it there. We're running out of proliferators. Proliferators is what I should have said. I continue to have speech problems. Hello, autosave. And want another green science one too. I'll drop it there. We need more science blocks. Yeah, see? See? Huh? Apparently we now got more incoming too. We'll order some proliferators though. I might just drop the min load down to 10%. There we go. Remote to demand some as well. I really hope it's not sending me 1600 of the bastards. But that's all I should need. Go up, make some more purples. Waiting for this guy to be constructed, to be honest. There we go. And we'll see if we have those proliferation stations yet. No. All good. How about now? Are we there yet? Yeah, we are there yet. Grab a chunk of these too. And switch this on so I know where everything's needed. Thank you. Proliferate that stuff. Yeah, we're out of quantum chips. That's not too surprising. I think the next thing I might build is like a warehouse factory just to kind of deal with the shocks to this. I don't mind everything just kind of switching on at once. Alright, but that should give us a whole heap more stuff. Now the choke point is still definitely on green science for whatever reason. Let's just have a look at that. So every 24 seconds it's going to make 2. So that's 1 every 12 seconds. And I've done for every purple one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah. Yeah, so purple science shouldn't be an issue. It seems to be sending off the science off to somewhere else. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call that a teething issue. Oh, there's our alarm. Pardon me. But while we're here, let's go set up these guys. Because they're not nearly big enough for our purposes, and we can definitely be making them taller. Now, I suspect that I can't keep up even with the current production that I've got. This is suspicion anyway. I don't know if that's going to be accurate or not. I might drop this down so that we have lower maxes. here. I think I want the supply to go to white science first. That is definitely going to help out with our research. And in 17 minutes time, we're going to have the next logistic station cargo stack count, which is cool actually, because that's going to improve a lot of things, a lot of places in terms of production straight away. And now let's look at what we're actually doing here. So we do eventually want to get up to the next version here, but that means another couple of carrier capacities. I mean, at some point I'll also need to set it so they'll win the game. Ooh, hang on. What's metadata? Realize metadata to unlock technology directly. You can also realize metadata separately in the metadata panel as corresponding matrices and research in the matrix lab. It's a buyout sort of thing. Okay. That's a new thing. I think. I think it's a new thing, or I've just been willfully blind all this time. Yep, alright. So I think veins utilization is possibly what I should queue up, or carrier engines. So we've got 18k, 36k. That'll be quick. Maybe drone engine, because it is taking a while to produce things now. Oh, jeeps. We'll upgrade it a little bit. Speed, I feel like now that we've got bigger labs online, maybe that'll be useful. And I'm thinking engines and vein resource utilization. We might go an engine, just make things run a little bit smoother, and then go with that. And hey, let's queue up actually winning the game. We haven't done that yet. Just had better things to research really, and still do, I suspect, but this is much better. This is a lot more research, and we're going to be let down by our white science ultimately, I think, here. Which is none too surprising. One thing I don't know the ratios of is our white science one. Like, these are obviously working at the... Hang on. Are we not proliferating our anti... No, we just don't have antimatter. Damn you, sir! You were meant to have antimatter. Right, so our limiting factor is still antimatter. I thought we were over this. I thought we'd gotten past this hurdle, but apparently not. It might have been because I just switched on a whole heap of stuff. these power demands went yoink. Like, oh my god, we need power, quick send everything. Is it antimatter or is it critical photon production that's conking out? That's the thing. Let's go back to Earth and let's check that out before we end the episode, because maybe this will be a two-parter. Maybe it will be. Let's find out what it should be. Head back to Big Brain and see what's going on. Alright, here we are back at Earth. I've even arrived at the right place. That's nice. Excellent landing as per usual. Yeah, so it's critical photon production. We need more. We don't have enough coming in. Somehow, the output isn't working though. And here, we can immediately improve things by doing that. Have some more photons. Hopefully you've got enough antimatter to keep up. Yep, you are. You're keeping up. You're still bottling it, which is good. You're filling up on liquid, yeah. That's not unexpected. We'll set you to a local supply again. You're smashing out some critical photons again. You managed to get a whole heap in storage too. That's cool. We've got 3,200 coming in. Yep, I think that we definitely want to still increase our critical photon production back at Arrakis. Man, look at all this. Look at all the traffic, it's incredible. Can't wait till the whole thing's covered. Mind you, some things surely will go dark unless there is like a main thing, then they'll just get mined out and that'll be the end of it. Speaking of the end of things though, I think this is where we're going to end things ourselves. Ah, see what I did there? Okay, so we have established in tonight's episode that we've gotten a lot more critical photons happening, but we need a lot more. So in the next episode, we will go back to Arrakis launch and increase the production of our critical photons even more, so that we have more being supplied back to our main big brain sort of area, so that it can send it on to Australia in the research centre here in Australia. I think Australia is also going to be my next Dyson planet. I think that's appropriate, you know, I am from Australia myself, so Australia needs a Dyson sphere. Certainly we need something better than coal. Anyway, so that's where we're going to end up. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this stream. If you did enjoy it and you want to continue on your journey, drop me a follow. If you didn't, don't do those things. All the same to me. Either way, I hope to see you next time, and good night.